Hey there, Lord of the Rings SPG gamers. I'm coming to you for what will be the first clip in Forays in Middle-earth episode 13, I think. I think I just did 12, so this is lucky 13. And today is actually my birthday. It's November 14th. So today is actually my birthday, and I'm just sitting here on the couch in a little bit different location than usual. I've started working on the couch for my job because it's more comfortable. And I just wanted to kind of talk about what I've been working on. First is I'm just kind of sitting here fiddling with another kind of wilderness fort, I guess you might call it. So lately I attached a bunch of my ruins to beveled bases, hardboard bases that have already been spray painted. Everything's base coated. And for one of them, I decided to make another ruined fort, or a little like kind of wilderness fort. To kind of represent like maybe a little outpost or a small fortification put up by some bandits, something like that. I've made one before that I've shown off out of the old Middle-earth ruins, like the kind of the doorway piece and another small piece and some of the crumbly bits. And this one will be similar, but different in that I am adding some sort of palisades. Obviously, it's not, well, that's probably going to keep falling off. So I'll do it like this. So adding some palisades. One there, one there. And you see these pegs sticking out of the palisades here. I'm going to add planking made of, get out of there, coffee stirs across those. So it's going to kind of like, it's going to be a ramp up right here to this, and then it's going to go along and go along. And at the end here, I'm going to have a ladder, and coming off of this tall corner is going to be a tower, part of which I've already framed out. I've started to. It's not going to be quite this tall. I'm going to cut this down, I don't know, probably about like that as opposed to all the way up here. So it'll be like the first brace will be sitting kind of right on the top there. And it's going to have two levels. It's going to have one level designed to hold about 2 or 3 guys, and the top level does hold 1 guy with little ladders so you can actually use it in the game. And I also have, I'm going to pause the video and get some other stuff from on the other side of the room here. I have some other pieces I'll just briefly go over and then show off some models that I'm almost done painting. So I'll be right back. And we're back. I just have a couple more little sort of scatter pieces I made. This one will be kind of a little campfire up against a piece of ruin. And again, these are just going to be, if you remember my terrain from a while ago, maybe episode 5 or 6, these bases will be flocked and have patches of sand added, and the pieces will be painted in sort of almost an Osgiliath scheme, but not quite as bright. They won't be quite as white. But it's just the scheme I use for ruins, Middle-earth ruins. And another piece here. I think I've done one similar to this as well. I try to leave enough space between. I don't think I left quite 40 millimeters, but it's at least enough for an infantry guy to get through. And these serve as barriers. I think they're actually designed to actually play as barriers too when they made that set. And then one like this. And I have a few ruins pieces left I'm saving because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I have 2 of the statues that I'm saving if I ever do the journey book. Whatchamacallit, the journey book, not Amonhen, Weathertop, Amonsul. So let's see, what's next? Oh, so I've been painting my Durance folk. I think I've mentioned this a few times. They kind of sat on top of the bookshelf in the living room for a while. Get them turned around here. I don't want to spill them. Show off these guys. So tilt this just a little bit more so you can kind of see most of them here. Sorry the lighting's not great. You can see I've done most of them. We've got 6 Khazad guards, a box of the plastic warriors, Murin and Jar, Floy, and a dwarf king, which I will probably run as Balin or whatever, or just a dwarf king. Not really sure yet. I've kind of thought of these guys as like a traveling expeditionary force. Maybe they're going to reinforce Balin's expedition to Moria or something like that. Anyways, to get an idea of the paint scheme I've used, let me find a nice, well done one. Let's see if you guys can see this. Probably going to be hard to see. Turn the camera. Try to get this right in the light. Yeah, the lighting's not super great, so I apologize for that. Yeah, there's a shadow because I'm just using a lamp pointing right at me. Anyways, they have the armor I've done in two different patterns. So I have anything with scale or mail armor got an overbrush of this cold steel, which is a P3 color with a bit of blue tint to it. I think I mentioned that in the last video. And then I have the tabards are done in green. The sleeves and pants are done in, it's like, I started with the Fang, which was used to be shadow gray, and then they have a highlight of Lothern blue or ice blue. The guys with gold armor got, brass armor, I guess, 10 bits followed by brass balls, which is another P3 color. The shields got the same green as the cloth, very similar to what you see in the old dwarf paint tutorial from like Shadow and Flame. The boots were snakebite leather with a flesh wash. The skin is skin colored. The hair I did, I wanted to keep the hair really simple because I hate painting hair. I did split the dwarves into two groups, did half with Doombull brown, the other half with Mournfang brown. Then I went over with a wash of the old GW Flesh Wash, which I'm running low on. But I did that to give it a nice dark shaded, almost greasy. They kind of look a little greasy, which isn't so bad. Looks like hair. Has a sheen to it. And then I split the dwarves into three groups and dry brushed three different browns. I did Baylor, I used snakebite leather, Baylor brown, vomit brown, and vermin brown, which gave me two almost like one, vermin's the darkest and the other two are a little bit lighter. So it gives me some variation. And then I did Floy and the Dwarf King with gray hair, just, because they're old. And to do that, I did Astronomica and Gray, the old base paint, followed by a wash made with Mechanicus Standard, and then a dry brush of white. First time I made a gray wash, it worked pretty well. But Murin and Drar are really fun to paint. If you've never painted these two guys, I'll just show you, I think this is Drar, I don't forget which one's which. Just a really detailed kit, interesting model. He's got all these packs and stuff. He's got this interesting little shield with a raven on it. I think they're technically from the Iron Hills in the fluff. But a lot of fun to paint these guys. I really didn't like them until I really got into like the, once I got past the armor and the flesh, I really started to enjoy painting them. And once I got the greens and the blue on, they really pop. I think they're going to look nice on the table. There's nice contrast. Interesting colors to look at. They look unified. So those will be fun to include in an army. And I think I'm going to stop with them. I don't think I'm going to add to that army for now. I'm going to pause the camera one more time and run and grab something from upstairs. It's not finished yet, but it's more or less done. So I'll be right back one more time. All right, so I actually have two things that I don't know how I forgot the other ones. It's kind of a big deal. So this is not 100% done. I still have to do the base. And I don't remember if I showed it off after it's been painted. But I finished Amon Hen. And I think it came out really nicely. I've already posted a picture on GBHL, so some of you may have seen this. But the way this was designed by whoever did the tutorial was pretty ingenious because the hardest thing I had to do was either it's a toss-up between cut out the eagle shapes out of balsa wood or make my own 25mm bases because I couldn't source any in time. But Derek hooked me up with some old GW cavalry bases that are 25 wide and like 80 long, so I had to just cut them to size. And that's why you can kind of see these like little openings here because they're not, I didn't feel like filling it in. And maybe cutting the dowels to length because they were a little fiddly to get just right and sand down and all that. So that was the hardest things I had to do, essentially. And I guess, bevel the foam was a bit hard. Anyways, this is on there really solid with PVA. But this kit was a lot of fun to make and paint. To paint it, I hand painted it with black apple barrel acrylic. And then dry brushed it with I think they call it dark gray and then like a granite gray, like a lighter color all over. I used cheap paints because you need a lot of it. And I'm really excited to get this piece finished. Let's see, did I grab I grabbed a model for scale. Even painted, you can see you know, he's going to look really good. He can go down here. And I had forgotten that in the movies, Aragorn actually does fight on this. I thought Frodo just climbs up on it and falls off, but there's a whole scene where Aragorn like runs up the stairs and then he jumps off and yells Elendil, and you know they can. I think it's exactly 5 inches up from the bottom if you measure linearly. So the next thing to show you, it's going to be hard to fit this in the shot. Eventually, when I'm done with this round of terrain, I'm going to set up my whole board and do a whole kind of showcase of everything I've done. Let me... Oh, all the pieces moved around. Hold on a second. I'm going to pause really quick. Okay. See if I can get it in the shot to where you can actually see the thing. And I showed you before, but it's now done. Totally done. I did all the details. I did the door, all the skeletons. There we go. That's what I get for not gluing it down. But there you go. You can kind of see it's totally falling apart, which is fine. It's meant to do that. But Balin's Tomb, it's finally done. I haven't played on it yet. I'd really like to. I'm kind of wondering where I'm going to keep the thing. So maybe I will give it away or sell it or something. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. But it was a cool project, a nice proof of concept for making like a small self-contained board. You can make them interesting if you have the right stuff. It definitely helped having the pre-made terrain, obviously. But there's the door piece. There's the, the tomb itself with little poor Ori over there. Some more dead fellows. The trapdoors. 2 of those. Anyways, I do need a prize for the song contest around Christmas. Anyways, that's Balin's Tomb. Now I'm going to take all the pieces off of Balin's Tomb so you can see what it looks like without the stuff in it, which means I could conceivably play it with other scatter terrain or no terrain if I just wanted to straight up fight or a little arena battle or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to leave the edge pieces in just because they are hard to take in and out just because there's a lot of them. So there, that's what it looks like. It's like an open board. There's a little bit of sand, a little bit of interesting detail to look at. You could do a lot with this, or play different chambers of Moria by reconfiguring the pieces. So I think that would be an interesting way to play a campaign or something like that. But I actually think I'm going to end this episode early because the last one got really, really long, so I apologize for that. So this is going to be more of just a hobby vlog of what I've been working on. Things to look for in the future. I'm going to finish the dwarves. Sorry, I dropped a piece. Don't know where that went. I'm going to finish the dwarves, which they only have probably a couple more nights of painting left. And then I'm probably going to move on to... There's a bunch of bits and bobs I've gotten for other armies that need to be done, such as some more fountain court, the bolt thrower, some orc banners and their bolt thrower, maybe do the base on the int I got, the metal int, maybe get started on the Dunedain. I'm not really sure. I'm a bit aimless at this point. I don't really have anything encroaching. But that's all I got for you. So this has been episode 13. Keep it nice and short, and hopefully for the next one I'll be back with some more content. So thanks for watching, guys.